I am, Bo Jackson. Some people say I was the best two-sport player on the planet.
Boom.
There's one long drive way back.
God put a speed bump in my road a lot, which was my hip injury. And you know what you do when you get to a speed bump? You slow down, you slow your car down, ease off that speed bump, and go on down the road.
Thank you so much for taking time.
Oh, thank you for coming.
This facility,
Mhm.
fantastic.
This is the third of three. And I don't know if this is the biggest of the three or the second biggest, but we have one down the road about 45 minutes from here in a little town called Lockport, which is our flagship. And we have one in Hilliard, Ohio. And they are all doing very, very well. These type of facilities thrive in this area because during the winter, the summer sports, everybody's dormant, you know, or they got a local little batting cage that they can go to take it ground balls in warehouses where they got columns and they're restricted by the ceilings, so forth and so on. When we decided to do this, Jim with my partner and them, they went to about 3 or 4 different municipalities saying that what they wanted to do. Then they came to me and we sat down and talked. And I got on board because this is something that's needed. In the first city that we went to, say yes, we would love to have it here. And we had to go to the city council meeting, and we were like 7th in line to get up in front of the city council to present, and they shot down the first 6 people, and we're like, oh crap. We got up and spoke, told everybody what we were doing, how it would benefit summer sports, and this and that, and they said, all right, thank you. So we went back and said, we waited. They came and said, we'd like to see you back in. And we didn't know that. Well, hell, they just shot down the first 6 people. They said, we would love to have your facility in our town, but one condition. And we're like, okay. They said, you got to incorporate limestone in the building because their city is known for the limestone. So we would, sure, whatever you want. And the rest is history.
What warms your heart about what you see happening in these facilities? Because I don't know if people know that side of you as much as they probably should.
Well, the thing that warms my heart is not the fact that after a kid come here 5, 6, 7 years later, you may see them in the major leagues, or it's not that. The thing that warms my heart is that we're taking kids off of the streets. We're taking kids in that need guidance. We look at this place as a one-stop shop for kids growing up, which means we just don't just teach them baseball skills here. It's life lessons. If you're a knucklehead in school, we're going to get on you about it. And if you don't change your ways, you get kicked out of the club. We tell kids, look at this facility as a country club. Look at this facility as a place where you can come and you can stay as long as you want, work out and do things as long as you want, and feel safe. So when we talk to kids, it's not just about sports. We talk to them about getting a good education first, keeping their nose clean. We talk to them about teenage drugs, sex, teen suicide. We talk to them about everything. This is a place where you can come to learn life lessons. So when you leave here, and let's say go to college, we want you to leave here as a well-rounded individual. And if you make it in sports, that's that's icing on the cake. But we prepared you for the world. We prepared you for what's out there.
You did something recently that not a lot of people know about. A lot of kids lost their lives down in Texas in a shooting. And my understanding was you did something with the funerals of these kids that lost their lives. And I don't know what led you to do that or why you did it. But from on behalf of like the people affected by situations like that, so you're not just helping people live a great life. There's people also who deal with grief and have circumstances that are almost unexplainable or at least unfair.
Well, I look at it like this: where I come from, I'm the eighth of 10 kids. My mother raised 9 of those kids in a 700 square foot house. No running hot water, outdoor plumbing, outhouse. And that's all we knew. I go to school during the winter in Alabama. It's below freezing. I go to school barefoot, no shoes, for 3 weeks. I had my first pair of shoes. A fairly large gentleman walked into school, walked in my classroom, talked to my teacher. She called me up, told me to go with this man. I didn't know where he was taking me. He took me downtown Bessemer and bought me my first pair of shoes. He bought me my first pair of shoes. And it was a pair, I think they were called Allen Ed. And there was, I tell you what, they look like the shoes that you see on the TV show, My Three Sons. My first pair of shoes.
Wingtips.
Very first pair of shoes. And growing up like that, you can't miss something that you never had. And I was fortunate enough to make up my mind when I was between 9 and 15 years old, that I didn't want that that I was going to do something with my life to where I never had to live like that. Not saying that I want to forget that part of my life, because that's part of my DNA. But I wanted something better for myself. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go to the military to learn how to fly jets. And luckily for me, growing up poor, somebody wanted to pay for me to go to college for 4 years, as long as I can run up and down the football field for. I figured that's it. That's an even trade. I give them something on Saturday, they give me something for the rest of my life. And by me doing those things, the thing that a friend and I decided to do for the victims of Uvalde, Texas, that was easy. That was easy. I pray because now I have 2 grandkids. One's 2 and the other one's 9 days. I pray to God Almighty I never have to go through a day like those parents. People just don't know. And I drive through that town a lot to go hunting at a friend's ranch. So it kind of touched me in a way that other people say, oh, well, that happened there. It touched me in a different way because I know the town. I know how hard the people work in that town. They don't have much. And today, to bury a loved one, it's almost $10,000. And that's probably more than what these folks make. in damn near a year. So I talked to a buddy of mine. I said, we need to do something. So we decided to fly down, go present them with a check. And I haven't met any of these parents. Don't know them, probably never met them. But I felt that I needed to do something. And I tell you, I don't have much. I played professional sports back when the payments were very, very small. And I'm not complaining.
Well, God bless you for just how you are and how you approach it and your why. Yeah, people go beyond their means and there are assumptions made about athletes having more than they have. You're a guy who's still living it and still working it. Frankly, the way you worked it in both football and baseball. I've talked to some of your ex-teammates. Talked to Jim Eisenreich and had him tell me his life story.
Jim Eisenreich, fastest white guy in baseball back when we played. The quickest wrist from the left side. He and George Order. But Jim would hit a ball down the line that most guys, besides myself and Willie Wilson, would only get a single. He would stretch it into a double. Jim is one of those guys that has overcome.
Well, he lit up when I told him. He lit up when I told him I was to see you. I've also got to know George Springer in my life, and Dusty Baker's a part of my life, and they've both had challenges in the world of speech.
Yes,
and what they do is they love on people who have those challenges as well.
Absolutely.
Jim, as a young kid, before they knew what he didn't know what he had until he was in his mid-career.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids would shake the fence, while he's playing. So he knew when people were making fun of him. He knew when people were loving on him.
Mm-hmm.
But a great guy, and really, it's part of what we're doing. And the GoatNet is what we're building. Greatest of all time network. I'm a critic of social media, and as I look at the unproductive nature of that, this whole unfiltered universe that is social media, that we've got a chance to make a difference in people's lives. And really, what I want to impress upon you is that GoatNet is about connecting people in the pursuit of greatness and providing avenues. I would say that you and your facilities personify what it is our platform is supposed to do.
This facility is 100% for the community. It's for the kids. It doesn't matter what background you come from, your family income, your race, your sexuality. We built this for you. Our doors are open. Our doors are open.
Give you a backstory on my grandfather who built the Houston Astrodome. My granddad was the county judge and the mayor in Houston, and it was in the 1960s and late 50s. He grew up there as an only child. He lost his dad. His dad was killed in a head-on collision by a drunk driver. And he was largely responsible, which the HBCUs in Houston, of tearing down all the signs in that city that said whites only. He built the Astrodome because of the inclusive nature of it. Mm-hmm. And I find it interesting and full circle to be sitting here with you at the Bow Dome. That sounds like it's built on really similar principles, but the first dome stadium in the history of mankind was built because it was an inclusive stadium that had the support of the entire community and not just because of the hateful elite of the community. So symbolically to me, as you've done this, and I don't know what the next chapters look like to you, but you've got a fascinating story, and I know you don't tell your story a whole lot, but we are a place that's about extracting stories from people and helping to share those stories so that kids see a path.
I know, but I am getting ready to do my life book, and only a small portion of that is about sports. The thing about me is that I've lived 3/4 of my life in front of the public. And now that I don't have to, I'm very, very, I'm not going to say private, but it's about my family, my close friends. my 2 grandkids. Like I said earlier, I don't go to football, baseball games. And if I go, it's because my wife and my daughter make me take them. And I say, you've seen me down at Auburn and I'm on the sidelines. It's because I'm told that I have to be there by my wife and daughter there up in the booth. And the only place that I can get some peace and quiet is standing on the sideline, standing on the bench. Because everybody there is working. They don't give a crap about me. So I can stand there and watch the clock. Tick, tick, tick. Hurry up and go. And so forth and so on. But even here, I live here in Chicago. Been living here for 32 years. Jim Tomey and Jerry Reinsdorf. I'm an ambassador to the White Sox. So when I go to stadium, it's because I got an event, speaking, engagement or something that I got to do. I go up to the booth with Jerry. Usually Jim told me it's more guys around there. They nicknamed me Fourth Inning. They go, Fourth Inning is here. And the reason they call me Fourth Inning, because by the time the first pitch starts in the 4th inning, I'm on the interstate going home. I'm either halfway home. So I stick around long enough to make conversation, to see what's going on. And so forth and so on. Then I go home. Then I go home. And I've been in the Bears Stadium once. And I didn't watch the game. I sit back and talk to Al Day when he came here before he passed. We sat back and talked. He was in a wheelchair. And I sit and talk to him.
You recall what you discussed?
We're just talking about life. And probably playing for Jerry Reinsdorf and Al Davis are the 2 best employers that I ever worked for. And the one ironic thing about that, they both went to the same high school in New York.
Great. Were they Brooklyn?
They both went to the same high school.
That's great. Well, Jerry was on our board at MLB Advanced Media, and just a wonderful person who always gives back. He was a good friend. We had a very great mutual friend in Jimmy Lee Solomon. I don't know if you know Jimmy Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Lee was one of my favorite people on earth.
Yes.
And I was with him the week he passed, and he was going to be the president of our company. And so Jimmy Lee sort of embodies, when I think of the greatest of all time, I tell people it's about people like Jimmy Lee Solomon, who grew up in a really bad area of southwest of Houston and wound up getting himself to Dartmouth and on football and track scholarship and going up to Dartmouth. And all of a sudden, through that, he goes to Harvard Law School. He tried out for Houston Oilers. Bum Phillips told him you might want to start Plan B. Plan B was Harvard Law School, not a bad Plan B. But Jimmy Lee went on to influence people and serve as a mentor to a lot of people. So I tell people, when I think of the greatest of all time, think of people like that who came up, built themselves, become one of the top executives in baseball. And Jerry loved him. What do you think of when you think of people who are the greatest of all time? Do you have people who come to mind when you think about that term, those terms?
Actually, I never think on those terms. But if I had to pick somebody greatest of all time, that's easy. That's my mom. Period. Hands down. 10 kids by herself. 700 square feet home. Worked 2 jobs. Sometimes the only time I saw her was on Sunday morning because she worked Monday through Saturday night. Get in around midnight, and I'm already asleep. Wake up Sunday morning. Get us ready for Sunday school. See her on Sunday. The other 6 days she's at work. So, and do what she did to raise 10 kids. No one ever got in trouble. No one ever got in trouble. And I was the first of 10 to go to a 4-year college. I had brothers and sisters that went to junior college, but I was the first to go to 4-year college and graduate.
How long did you have your mom in your life?
My mom passed when she was my age, 60. And she passed from cancer. She hid it from the family. Didn't let nobody know. and I was in with the Kansas City Royals playing against the Milwaukee Brewers, and found out because I had to make her. I had to make her go to a real hospital because older people put too much trust in their primary care doctor. And if not all doctors, but they're going to diagnose, if they know you got good insurance or got somebody paying the bills, they're going to continue to see you, try this, try this, try this, and so on and so on. And that was my mother's case in rural Alabama. And we had UAB hospital right up the street. She never went there until I forced her to go. I said, I'm gonna take myself off of the team. And if you don't let my sister take you to the hospital tomorrow, I'm gonna take myself off the team and I'm gonna come home and take you. And you're not telling me no. I said, do you remember what you told me when I was younger? You don't make decisions in this family or this house unless you're paying the bills. I said, I'm paying the bills, lady. So I'm gonna come home tomorrow. So she let my sisters take her up to UAB. This was after she'd been seeing this primary care doctor for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And he knows who her son is. So he's just charging her. And first test they ran found out she had colon cancer. And she was bleeding from her large intestine. And they kept her, did surgery on her that day. So I remember leaving Milwaukee at 5:30 in the morning, flying to Birmingham. The county sheriff, who I played Little League baseball for, had one of his deputies to meet me at the back of the plane and to take me to the hospital. And just me, and here I am. Some people say that I was at the top of my game in both sports. To have me to walk in my mother's room and see her there, asleep, tubes coming out of her body from everywhere. For me to see the strongest person I know lying there helpless, just it ripped my heart out because I couldn't do anything about it. Here I am, Bo Jackson. Some people say I was the best two-sport player on the planet, but yet I can't do nothing for my mom. So just dealing with that until this day, with me being 60 years old, I'm still dealing with it. I still question why wasn't I there when God called you home
How have you kept her with you in your faith?
every day, every day, every day. I was just sitting there holding my 9-day old grandson, and I'm saying only if your great grandma can see you now, can see both of you now. Just it's things like that that I think more about that than I do sports. I don't think about what could have been if I hadn't gotten hurt. It wasn't in the cards for me. I look at life like this. God put speed bumps in everybody's road of life. God put a speed bump in my road of life, which was my hip injury. And you know what you do when you get to a speed bump? You slow down. You slow your car down, ease over that speed bump, and go on down the road. And that's what I've done. Slow down over the speed bump Go on about my business. Don't look back. Keep my eyes focused up there. I can't do a damn thing about what's going on back there.
You get tired of people bringing up moments, whether you're climbing the wall in a way that nobody ever had before, or throwing a throw that people hadn't really seen before, or making a run that is still a jaw dropper.
Not really, because on a weekly basis, my 2-year-old grandson, he know who Papa is, and he's 2 years old, and he can speak fluent English, where he said, "Nana, I want to watch Bo Jackson football highlights. Nana, I want to watch Bo Jackson baseball highlights." So I watch my highlights a dozen times a week because of him. And that's what he wants to watch. So I let him watch it. And he can, you name it, any sports out there, he wants to play. He swings a golf club. He throws a football. He swings a baseball bat. He kicks a soccer ball. He has a rugby ball. You name it. He has a tennis racket. He does it all. And I sit and let him in.
And when he looks at you, it's sort of with this deferential admiration. Do you have anything that you share with him yet at age 2?
The only thing I share with him at age 2 is that I threaten to punch him in the nose, because sometimes when he calls me, he calls me so much, Papa, Papa, and sometimes I don't answer. He'll say Papa about 4 or 5 times and don't answer. Bo, boy. So he calls me Bo, or my wife called me Vince. He'll call me Vince, Vince, and I get on him about that. But he is a joy of my life right now. God rewards you. God has rewarded me with 2 grandsons. And I guess it's life bonuses for something I did right a long time ago. But just to have my 2 grandkids right now is better than any sports, better than any game, any highlight. You just can't beat it.
I think some of your bonuses are for the here and now. Just so you know, it's not just because of what you did athletically. I leave you with this thought on spirituality. You're a spiritual person, and you also appreciate nature. You mentioned Uvalde and going hunting, and we had a ranch down near Bruni, Texas, growing up for me. And there's something about the peace of being out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, or just being in nature and being among friends in those settings. What is it about the nature and spirituality and kind of the blend of that when you get alone time in those settings, or time even with camaraderie like you may have had in the locker room back in the day?
The camaraderie, my bonus in that sense is that even now, I wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning. My wife got an office off of our bedroom. I'll go and sit in her office, turn the chair around, and open the window, and sit there and just look out in my yard. Got deer, coyote, raccoons walking through my yard. And I just sit there and look. I talk to my mom. I talk to my granddad. Talk to my dad. Talk to family members that have passed on. Talk to God. I'm not a real religious, go to church every Sunday, Bible talk. Actually, I haven't been to church in years. And you don't have to go to church to talk to God, to have a conversation with God. Hell, I have a conversation with God God sitting in my tree stand, sitting on my boat when I'm catfishing. I talk to God, I talk to my mom, talk to all my family members that have moved on. Anytime, anywhere, but just that morning, introducing myself to a new day, to a new sunrise. There's there's really nothing like it. That's my time. That's me time. That's nobody else's time. And I love it. I love it.